Thank you for coming with us on this journey to a golden future.
We pray that today's broadcast will help you in some way to find, fulfill, and finish God's will for your life.
Now we invite you to join us in the Golden State Baptist College radio studio.
Brother Flora, I just wanted to say thank you. You bring such a vibrant energy to the show. It's like you're constantly running a one-person hype train.
Hey, well, thank you, Brother Simmons.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
It's interesting you bring that up because I was just thinking today about how it's so impressive how you can manage to talk for hours on end.
I can, yeah.
And still leave me with more questions than answers.
Well, you know what? Thank you for that. But your confidence is inspiring. I wish I could be that sure of myself without needing to be right.
Wow, man. That's such a strong compliment coming from someone who can manage to stay so calm and so collected when you're talking about something that you've never researched in your life.
It's funny you should say that because I admire your energy conservation strategy. It takes real skill to do so little while being on the air. You know?
Wow, man. Just hearing you come up with these, I don't know, whatever you call these things, but it just reminds me of how your ability to be so well-spoken on this podcast is so different from when you would be on the phone for hours with your girlfriend talking about who knows what. So I guess there's some progress here.
Well, you know what? You really know how to champion your own ideas too, pal. It's like you're running a solo campaign for president of your own brain.
Thank you for tuning in to A Golden Future today. We thought we would start out with a couple, what do you call these?
I call them backhanded compliments.
Yes.
And you're so deserving of them.
As are you, my friend. But another fancier, I guess more alliterated way to say that would be passive-aggressive aspersions. An aspersion is basically a synonym for a backhanded compliment.
Thank you for telling me that. And you said they're alliterated, but that first
almost
word starts.
It's almost.
Yeah.
It's almost. But anyway.
Nice try, pal.
It's
nice
almost.
try. I'm going to come up with a compliment for that. How you tried to explain aspersions to me, but then it wasn't even alliterated. It's okay.
I don't know.
Hear that,
I don't
people?
know if this is such a good way to
Round
start
of
the
applause for
broadcast
Brother Fuller.
because it puts us at odds with each other. But
Can you imagine coming to the broadcast and having to talk with one another and we just had a big fight?
that would be tough.
We haven't done
would be
that
crazy.
yet. Hopefully we never will.
Yeah,
We
hopefully.
never really, I guess we did.
We had a couple
I don't think we
disagreements.
fought. Yeah, I
No,
would think so.
Never any fights.
I think we just used to butt heads on ideas.
Yeah.
We thought a little differently.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know I'm right. You're wrong.
Oh, man. Allowing you to do this segment was a bad idea.
I did. I came up with this
You're gonna rag on me the whole broadcast.
You
bro.
should think about it. Most of my ideas are somehow. Remember, we did that fake fan mail,
Yeah.
and all of mine were
It just
dissing
hyped you up and brought me down. Good stuff.
Story of our relationship.
If you're wondering why we started with backhanded compliments, there's really no reason.
There's no reason.
We thought maybe it would be entertaining. I don't know.
It was.
For you,
You didn't enjoy it.
It was kind of fun. I hope it was enjoyable for the
We
listeners.
probably won't bring it back.
Yeah.
Man, what if we did that with a guest?
Oh, we didn't tell them we
And
were
they had
doing it.
no idea?
That would actually be kind of funny. That would be kind of
And
funny.
they're thinking, you asked me to be on the show, right?
And then we just passively aggressively tell them. That would be good.
That'd be pretty funny.
Anyways, we want to thank you for tuning in to a Golden Future radio broadcast. I'm Brother Fuller.
And I'm Brother Simmons.
And we want to thank you for tuning in today, wherever you listen, whether that's KNBBC, the home base, the home squad, or that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening. We just wanted to stop for just a moment, stop all of the hate, and say thank you.
Stop all the hate.
Stop all that and say thank you.
All right,
the
we're not
listener,
trying. We're not trying to be trendy on this podcast, but it's okay.
Oh, did it sound kind of trendy to say that? I feel like that was.
You were fine.
It was a long time
I was
ago.
just cracking jokes again. I was just cracking
right.
jokes. How about let's talk about what we did last week?
Yeah,
because that was
weekly recap.
great. That was great. We finished off Challenge Accepted.
Yes,
That was
wonderful time
really
with that.
good. You need to go back to listen. Brother Fuller had a great one about
Brother Simmons was.
You
was
can
wonderful
listen to
as
that.
well.
I actually learned something from that one. And it was really good. It was a hope to me. And then you have to go back to listen.
Oh no!
Because we did Face Off
Yes.
of Hymns.
We had an epic face-off.
Cue the cheer, cue the applause, because I have the first win. It's 1-0 for the face-off. I am the winner. You are runner-up. I'm sorry, preacher.
Yeah, you can call it what it is. I was the loser. I lost that one.
Yep.
But that just means next time I'm going to come with more fire, more zeal for our next face-off.
Also, if you haven't yet, comment what we should do a face-off next. That would be good. We need to know.
Yeah.
Because I'm still thinking about it.
We're running out of ideas here.
No. Brother Fuller has a plethora of ideas, obviously, that we just learned about in backhanded compliments. And some of them aren't so great, but he's got them. They're in there somewhere.
Your idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, that was last week. Let's talk about this week. Let's talk about the broadcast breakdown.
Good.
We have a brand new segment,
right,
which I'm kind of excited about. This kind of goes back. You were talking about seeing things a little differently.
Sure.
And we kind of had a little bit of
disagreement
disagreement about this
true.
New segment, but I think we've landed.
Okay.
So I think we're at a good spot.
You were not mad. You weren't mad at all.
No, I wasn't mad.
I'm not saying that at all, but you came up with an idea. I was like, yeah, that's great, but how about we do... Anyways, this part of it, which was still your same idea, and you were like, no, let's just do it this way. I'm like, I wasn't trying to steal your idea or not do your idea.
You'll see how it's different. You'll see we're doing a new segment called One Chapter, One Truth. And so instead of giving you a whole book, we're going to take one truth from a chapter of a book. I'm
going to tell them the difference, okay?
Okay.
No, go ahead. Finish. You finish.
I was going to say, I was about to explain to them how we saw it differently.
Okay, well,
I'll give you my take, and then Brother Simmons, you'll give you the mic.
Well, Brother Fuller came up with this great idea. Let's take one chapter or one truth from one chapter of a book, and not tell you the rest of the book, but obviously just one truth that he learned.
And my thought was the first chapter.
Yeah,
one chapter, first chapter.
That's
one
great.
Truth, first truth.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good idea. I like it. And I said, how about, though, let's do the last chapter instead, because people say the end of the book is the best part. It reveals the truth. I was like, let's just do the end of the book. And he was all,
But then I was like, you're spoiling a good book for all of our listeners. That's what I was thinking in my mind.
Thing.
It's just the front and the back. Anyway, so we're gonna share today one truth from one chapter of the same book.
Yes.
Mine is the very first chapter.
Right.
And Brother Simmons is at the back of the book.
Right.
So
that way, to appease you.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind. I love the idea.
Yeah, I think we landed on a good spot with that one. So we're excited about that.
As long as you're happy. Are you comfortable?
Whatever. We're also gonna have
okay?
We're also gonna have a bracket breakdown later on, and I don't know what it is yet. Brother Simmons came up with the bracket. I'm supposed to be the one moving everything through. I hinted to it a while ago,
but yeah, you've always done them, and I think we've done them primarily for our guests.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever done one for you.
No, and I'm looking forward to it.
So this is brand new, and obviously you do funny things. You do things for, like, what do we do?
Cereals,
snacks,
and stuff like that.
And obviously I'm spiritual, so I'm bringing it back to a biblical side.
Whatever, of course. He was going to scrap it, and I was like, nah, do it. It'll be fine. He's like, nah, I don't know if it'll be fun enough. I'm like, this is whatever you come up with. It'll be good.
All right.
Anyway. That's what we got going on today. What do you want to start with? One chapter, one truth. You want to start with the bracket breakdown?
You do your first one chapter, one truth, and then I'll do mine.
The bracket. Okay. All right. So our book today is from J.C. Penney, and it is called Lines of a Layman. This is a really good book.
Really good book.
We were told about it in Bible college here at Golden State Baptist College.
Sure.
And phenomenal book. Easy read because the chapters are small. That's what makes it easy. It's a good book for anybody.
It's one page, one chapter.
If you're not much of a reader, it's a really good book to start out with because you can feel like you're cruising through so many chapters in one day. Anyway, my truth today comes from the very first chapter, and in that book, he talks about a 4-square man. That's what he calls it, and he talks about 4 secrets or 4 things that every man needs in order to be successful, in order to be, make an impact in the world. And
I forgot about this.
I'm going to share with you one of those 4 things because it's one chapter, one truth. Okay. I know you want to hear all 4. But I can only share with you one.
Okay.
And so I'm going to share with you the first one. So he says that in order to be a 4-square man, to be successful, you got to have these 4 things. And the first one was purpose. You got to have purpose. You got to have vision. And I remember hearing Pastor Trieber talk about this a lot when he was teaching us in college. And he actually wrote the foreword to JC, this book that's printed by North Valley Publications. And here's a little quote from it, talking about purpose and everything like that. He says, imagination is the power back of initiative. And as I thought about that, I was like, man, that's pretty good because imagination is what powers initiative. And I really started to think about it in my own life. I'm like, it makes sense because
Sure.
we would never initiate something if we didn't like imagine it or think about it first. And then I went back to think, when was the last time that I sat down and kind of imagined or dreamed what could be, like imagined how what I'm doing could be better, or imagined what am I not doing that could be really cool, imagining all of these different things. And I thought about it, I was like, that's big time, because I haven't done it in a while, but this broadcast, that's what it came from. It started with imagination. And anyway, so he talked about imagination is the power back of initiative. And I thought the one truth to take away from the one chapter is this: in order to have purpose, you have to imagine. You have to sit down and dream about what could be.
That's good.
And I think that's lacking a lot today.
Oh, yeah.
Because we easily get into a groove, right?
Sure.
We go to school, we go to college to do a 9 to 5,
Right.
and it's all a groove. But those people that are really making a difference and an impact and success, those are the ones that are like, how can I do differently and better than what everybody else is doing?
Wow.
So
I like that.
I thought it was really cool.
I think I don't remember reading that. I remember that chapter, but I must not have caught that when I read through it the first time.
It's probably easy to remember the title, Foursquare Man. What in the world does that mean? But
I'm going to go and read that.
Yeah.
I actually am.
It was
Not
really
because of anything you did, but I just like that title. I'm going to go back and read that. I heard a quote today, too. I was talking with one of the students here at the college, and he was talking about a message that he had just heard recently. I guess it sort of goes with this, but I guess with imagination or being creative or testing the limits or boundaries in a good way. But he said this, a preacher said this, that to pray for things that are easy is disrespectful to God.
ooh,
And that's not the exact wording, but he says, think of your bus route. If you're praying for 20 and you always have 20, you're asking God to just do what's already happened, what's easy.
Right.
He said, why aren't you praying for the impossible? I think that's what it was. If you're not praying for the impossible, that's disrespectful to God. Like, oh, God, that's like praying, God, help me to make my $20 an hour at your job. Obviously, that's just an example, but that already happens, in whatever situation you are. Why not pray, man, God, would you please meet this need? Or God, would you please do this? And to me, that was just, it struck me today, and I carried it all day, and I was like, wow, I haven't really thought of that in a while.
Yeah, it's interesting. We always, when we get caught up, we're super busy right now. Pastor's Conference right around the corner. After that, I got college days.
Right.
A bunch of stuff on your plate. It's hard to find time to go like, how can I
Be better.
Yeah, how can I be better? What can I do differently? And I think that's probably one of the things that I wish I would have done more in college. Like, I know that there were times when I was thinking about, man, what God could do through junior church, right?
Sure.
And how God could grow that. And
Sure.
there were times when I thought about the bus route and how, what can God use me for in that? But I wish I would have even had like a bigger picture. I remember when I was younger, I used to think a lot about big things that God could do. And my imagination was like huge, like every kid's imagination, right? And I used to think of all these great things that God could do. And then as I got older and got busier with what I had on my plate right now, I don't know. It kind of hit me today that I was like, I need to go back a little bit to when I was younger and begin to dream about what can God do in my life. And I think that's what we need every young person to do. Everybody listening to this broadcast, that we need to be dreaming about how can God use me in bigger ways? What can I do for God, and stuff like that.
Well, it's like I remember someone saying, they said, if you're not moving forward for God, you're pretty much moving backwards. If you're just staying stagnant, if you're not growing, then you're dying. And I think it's even greater when people are following you, because if you're stagnant, then they're going to stay stagnant. Excuse me.
Getting choked up a little bit here with the truth.
Something stuck in the throat. Anyways, well, wow, no way, brother. We have gone.
We've just been cruising through time.
How about that? Should we let you do that one? and then I'll do mine next time. Is that okay?
Sure.
Do you want to
Next
do
time.
the bracket breakdown?
Let's
still?
do the bracket breakdown super fast because we have just been taking up the time today.
You must have gotten me in that one, and we weren't planning for that. But
No, it
praise
was
the Lord,
good.
it was good.
You'll save your one chapter, one truth for
I'll do that
another day.
next week. We'll be ahead of the game. All right, how about this? We're going to do a bracket breakdown now.
Okay.
And we have done a lot before. We have done it with guests. This is your first time doing it.
I'm excited.
And for a spiritual aspect, I'm going to say, all right,
All right.
which, oh, excuse me there. My voice is still choked
If you
up.
can't tell, Brother Simmons is getting he's coming down with something.
I guess so. But which biblical event would you have liked to have been around for? All right.
Okay.
So this is I have 8 on the board.
Okay.
You choose which one out of the 8 you would want to have been. I know you want to
Okay,
see
okay.
them all. One day we will up in heaven. But if you had to pick one right now, what would it be?
Okay.
I'm going to make it easy right out the gate. One of the best stories and one story that's still pretty good. All right. So
All
here
right.
we go.
All right.
Would you rather have been around for David and Goliath for that
okay.
battle scene,
All right.
or for the Tower of Babel?
Okay.
Should
All right.
be easy, but when you think about it, Tower of Babel would have been pretty
It
cool.
would have been pretty cool. I'm gonna talk about the Tower of Babel just a little bit because it's going.
Okay.
I would pick David and Goliath, but I think the Tower of Babel would still be interesting. Because
Okay.
imagine everybody one language. That would have been cool to see.
Right.
Like the dispersal of the language. I see that every day. I look on whatever
Well,
online.
I wasn't specific. Maybe it would have been afterwards, and you wouldn't have seen that anyways. So
Okay.
good thing you picked David and Goliath.
Yeah.
All right, good. I got to write this down.
Oh,
you have
you
that
need a
pen?
pen? Yeah, right here.
Secondly, okay,
Right
here we go. On that same side of the bracket, would you rather have seen Jesus feed the 5,000
Okay.
or the men in the fiery furnace?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Here's the deciding factor, and it's a follow-up question.
Okay.
Do I get to eat the bread and fish, or do I only get to see it?
You only get to see it.
Oh, man, that does make it tougher then. It would have been an easy win.
I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. No, is it cheating if I know the rest of the bracket?
Yes, you can't know the rest of the bracket.
Well, just
That's
because
horrible.
I'm not guaranteed that there's going to be another miracle of Jesus, I'm going to pick that one.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's going to move forward.
All right, but imagine
Okay.
if you pick something over Jesus' miracle. That'd be pretty bad.
The fire furnace would be so cool, though.
It would be. All right, now I love this one. I know which one would win for me.
Okay.
But I love this one. Would you rather have been there when Moses parted the Red Sea
Okay.
or for Elijah on Mount Carmel?
Man.
Yeah, I know.
That is tough.
I know which one I would pick. They're both really cool, but for some reason, one stuck with me today.
That is really cool.
You've got to choose, man. It's
That's tough.
I still think, I know which one.
Man, you put two really good ones together.
I'm sorry. Those I thought one wasn't as good as the
I
other
think
one,
they're both really cool.
but they're pretty good ones.
I think I'm going to go with Parting the Waters.
There we go. Yes.
I'm not sure why, but that's what my gut is telling me.
That's what I was thinking today. I
Parting the
really
Waters.
love that one for some reason. All right. Before we get into the semifinals, here we go.
Last one.
This one, pretty amazing.
Okay.
Good thing you didn't pick the boys in the furnace because we've got Daniel in the lion's den.
All right.
Or, this one's pretty cool, Peter walking on the water. Pretty good ones.
Those are pretty good.
Pretty good ones.
I think because, man,
Uh-oh.
this is tough. I was
could
about
get
to say
tricky.
I've already seen the waters part.
Right?
So seeing somebody walk on water,
Ooh.
not as cool.
Okay.
But then I think about the lion's den.
Okay.
It's dark. Maybe I wouldn't even see what's
Scared of the
going
dark?
on.
Oh.
And then I'm sitting in a dark cave with Daniel and don't even get to see it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Daniel in the lion's den.
Okay.
But I'm pretty confident in the next round he's gonna be gone.
Oh,
see.
really?
We'll see.
Okay,
I like
okay.
the two. The matchup was hard.
I mean, as a kid, that's probably one of the most well-known ones that I remember growing up
Hmm.
and sticking with me all the time. Okay, here we go. Choose wisely, because you've got David and Goliath
Okay.
versus Jesus feeding the 5,000.
Man. That is tough. Okay. It shouldn't be tough, right? Because the answer is always Jesus. But just to see that giant go down.
People reference this. Oh, it's a David and Goliath moment all the time.
Man.
It's historical.
Can I think about that one while we do the other side of the bracket?
Okay, all right. Now this one,
come back
here
to
we
that
go.
one.
You've got Parting the Red Sea or Daniel in the Lion's Den.
I'm going to go Parting the Red Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even
for
have to
some
think
reason,
about it. I'm going
I
Parting the
love
Red
that
Sea.
one today. I love that story today.
Okay, so we're back to the 5,000 or
Yep.
David and Goliath.
Yep.
Man.
Jesus feeding them.
Since the stakes are higher this round, do I get to eat the bread and the fish?
Is that going to be the deciding factor?
I don't know, man. It might be.
All right, how about this? You get to taste. Yes, you get to
I
eat
get to
the food
taste
this
it?
time. Yes.
I cannot.
But if you're with David and Goliath, you get to hold Goliath's sword.
Man,
Yeah.
you had to do it to me.
No, forget that. You get to hold David's sling. Yeah.
I think because
You get to keep the rock that was in Goliath.
I get to bring it back and put it on my desk in my
Yes.
office.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Imagine, hey, what do you got? Oh, this is my
You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. You see that blood on there?
That's so cool.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the basics. I got to go to the 5,000.
Really?
If I get to eat that, all the foodies in the world want to taste that. And
I guess it would be cool because you get to see Jesus
Right.
before going to heaven. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
But man, David and Goliath, I think
That's the hardest matchup, I think.
I probably would have done David and Goliath.
Really?
I don't know why. I probably would have.
Oh, man.
Imagine getting to keep that rock.
That would be cool.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be cool.
I've had a preacher. I know we got to go, but he brought rocks from there. It was pretty cool.
Very cool.
It was pretty cool. All right.
What's the
You've
championship?
Got feeding of the 5,000 or
Right.
Moses
Wow.
parting the Red Sea.
Wow.
Both of these, I don't know. Feeding of the 5,000, was it close to a sea? I can't remember now. But
Okay.
anyways, feeding of the 5,000,
Here's what I'm doing in my mind's eye right now.
tell me.
I talked about it at the beginning, the imagination.
Right.
And I'm trying to go in my imagination back to both of these events. And I'm seeing the waters part.
I could see
It
that.
probably helps because I've seen some pictures when I was
yeah.
a kid.
I remember that. Flannel graph.
But now I'm imagining like a fish swimming by while I'm walking through.
That's so cool.
And the ground is dry.
I can see it.
And all the children of Israel are there. But then there's more pressure. It's intense because you got the Egyptians right behind you.
That's so cool.
And then the grand finale, bro, to see that all come down and have those Egyptians just...
Or you get to take a sack lunch.
Well, when you put it that way. But then I'm picturing multitudes of people.
5,000.
Thousands.
5,000.
And the disciples are just back and forth with all these baskets.
That'd be
And then you
cool.
got this little boy who's just sitting there with his jaw on the floor, his eyes bigger than they've ever been before.
I know. I know which one I would pick.
Man.
And it's wrong, but I know which one I would pick. I think I do.
I think because of the fact that I'm going to get to see Jesus one day in heaven anyway, I'm going to have to go to the parting of the waters.
That's what.
I hope that all the people listening are not mad at me right now.
We had the same one. The whole day I was thinking that for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why it was so real to
Just
me
like
today.
the grand epicness of all of it has to be beyond what I can imagine,
How
right?
people saying walking through the water, imagine a little kid just putting his hand in the water. as
That
he's walking.
feeling would
It
be so
has to
cool.
so amazing.
Man.
Walking through on dry ground.
Yeah. And then, dude, I can picture the water like closing in.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can't picture it enough. Like
Yeah.
it's got to be a lot cooler to actually see. And to be standing there looking up, there's just a wall of water on both sides.
Sure.
That's got to be the coolest one.
I know when we get to heaven, it's God. We're gonna forget about everything, being so awe of Him and praise Him. Wouldn't it be cool if He just like reenacts all the stories?
we got
though,
to, like, see
and we
him
get
in
to live
person?
it for all of eternity.
I wonder what those guys, the Bible guys,
I don't know.
would want to see. I mean,
From us?
maybe they can see it from heaven. I don't know.
Probably nothing.
Maybe they would. Maybe not.
Riding a hoverboard, probably not.
No, I mean like the Great Awakening.
Oh,
or, like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
these cool things. But anyway,
Pastors conference, right?
Yes,
I don't
yes.
know. Something.
dude, that was a good bracket.
Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it too. Well, we have went way over today.
So we're gonna wrap it up. If you are listening, here's what I want you to do:
Yes.
leave us a review or
Please.
a rating if you're listening online with podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're listening on KNVBC, send us an email. Let
Yeah.
us know that you enjoy it and share it with a friend.
There we
Other
go.
than that, we'll leave you with our signature sign off: doing God's will today
Amen.
leads to God's will tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to a Golden Future radio broadcast.
If you'd like to listen to our other episodes, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at agoldenfuture@gsbc.edu.
And tune in next week to the broadcast dedicated to help this generation discover God's purpose for their lives.